You paint that?
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Do you need a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our first video cast ever, and it's going to be great. I can feel it. I'm going to be taking some time now to answer all those questions you've been asking over the last 5 years since we've been doing these videos, and hopefully clearing up any concerns that you have. So I guess, let's just get underway. The first thing I wanted to mention was I get a lot of questions about my new employment. So I've told you guys a few videos ago I'm no longer working at the shop, so I'm not pumping out the videos like I used to. Right now I'm working for a paint supplier where I basically go from shop to shop, make sure everybody's happy, the product's working well, and if there's any issues, whether it's paint application, color match, or even mixing equipment, I'm there to fix the problem. But it's great. I've been out and meeting all kinds of people in this industry, and this industry is full of some awesome people. And you learn a lot from some of the veteran techs, just having a conversation with them about paint and equipment, all that kind of stuff. So it's been going really well. So I'm really liking it, and yeah. So as for the shop, it's my old man's shop. He still owns and operates it there, and he keeps pretty busy. But I don't really have that opportunity to pick the latest and greatest job. So I used to always wait for a really good job to kind of go over with you guys, and I would film it then. So now I kind of go in on weekends every now and again and see if I can find something that's worth painting. And lately that just hasn't been happening. There's nothing there for me that's really worth recording. So that brings me to right here. But I have been kind of toying with the idea of picking up something, getting in a vehicle, maybe like a 92 Honda Civic. I think those are pretty, no, I'm kidding, it won't be a 92 Civic, but getting something that's maybe worth doing some sort of a cool custom paint job on, and filming the progress. So if you guys have any ideas, just kind of throw them out there, and maybe we'll see if something sticks. But right now I'm stuck with my Chrysler 200. Maybe I'll do some damage to it so I can fix it and show you guys a thing or two, but I don't know. I was thinking of clearing the headlights or tinting the headlights. But, it's a Chrysler 200. I'm kind of sick of pimping out grandma cars like my Sunfire. The car before this was a Pontiac Sunfire. I did a custom fade down on, which I know is a little embarrassing to tell people about, but, you know me. I don't really care what anybody thinks of me because, yeah. So let's get on to the first question I've got here, which is related to tinting headlights. Have you seen this Nissan again since I've cleared the lights, and how does it look today? Well, I'm not going to go all the way over to my stepbrother's house to check it out, but I did text him, and he says they look fantastic. So I'm going to take his word for it that they still look great. And, the thing with headlights, of course, you've seen me polish them before, and I mentioned in those videos as well that if you're polishing them, you're removing the protective UV film, and it's going to kind of keep fading in an endless loop. When you're clearing them, the clear actually has UV protection in it, and that's going to make it hold up that much better. So clearing is the way to go, and when you tint it, you just add a little bit of color, and generally that's not going to be an issue, even though the pigment will fade if it's exposed to the sun, just a small amount. Usually just gives that clear enough of a tinge, and you don't have to worry about getting chalked up on you from the UV fallout or anything like that. I've done it with aerosols before as well, not with the tinting, but just adding the clear. So yeah. What else do we got on the go? I want to talk a little bit about some work I've done for my little guy around here. So you've seen his truck before, and I want to show you guys in a second some really cool Power Wheel trucks out there. But lately, most recent paint job I've done, you got to see, which is a baseball diamond in the backyard. I got some grass paint, and I should have recorded it because it would have made an awesome video. Spray painting white lines on grass. I know you guys would have just loved that one, but okay, maybe you wouldn't have. But little guy loves baseball, and maybe a baseball bat custom paint job might be in the near future. I've never done a video on a bat before, but I have took some pictures and written an article on a bat that I did called the Jimmo Slug, which I used in a lot of softball games, and it held up really well. I basically just did that in a base clear, and nothing too special about it. It held up really well. I was a little concerned because most of my paint jobs I didn't have to worry about smashing with a ball, a ball and a bat. So it chipped off near the end, like I guess a factory bat would, but it held up pretty well. I gotta say, it was pretty good. And it wasn't a very good bat. It was a worth 27-ounce bat for anybody who actually follows softball or knows anything about it. Whenever you buy a bat like that, it's not usually good for anything, but I did put a few out, and a lot of the guys on my team used to pick it up just because it was the Jimmo Slug. I mean, it's the Jimmo Slug. You got to give it a try. So, yeah, bat. That's probably my next thing. Back to the Power Wheels I was talking about. We have a guy here that I wanted to show you some pretty cool work he's done. So, you know what, I think we got a clip. So let's roll the clip and I'll show you some of these cool custom Power Wheels. So some very cool Power Wheels indeed. We've got Charger, I think another Cadillac, Mustang, what else did we see? A Jeep, and I think even a Viper in there. So definitely some cool stuff. Vulgar Display of Power Wheels is this guy's username on YouTube. So make sure you check out his channel because he's got a lot of cool things on the go. And I think he even sells those. So mine's not for sale, but I guess if the right offer came along, maybe. You just never know. But at the same time, I get a lot of, it's one of the most heavily criticized videos, that Cadillac. A lot of people really didn't like the color scheme that I came up with, which I just kind of made up on the spot. I didn't really plan it out, like maybe I should have, but you know, my little guy was happy with it, and so, you know, that's all that really matters. But I wouldn't mind maybe redoing it one day, because I think he'd be happy with pretty well anything, as long as it even, you know, as long as the thing drives, which, you know, it doesn't really drive because I'm too cheap to buy a new battery for it. So it only holds a charge for about 20 minutes. So I should get on that next year. But summer's almost over, so it's still going to be snow on the ground. So the timing just isn't right. But maybe next year I'm going to repaint that. But let's move on to some more work here from a guy who calls himself the Toyota Painter. And anytime I have a chance to show you a custom goalie mask or anything related to hockey, I'm going to do that. So bam, there it is. And next we have a regular contributor to Refinish Network, a good friend of mine, Brendan Dingwell, who you know, has some pretty awesome work. He did an airplane that I thought was worth showing, and you know, it's he had to tape off some stripes, and it looked like a lot of work. I did read that he said he probably doesn't know if he would do another airplane, but it's one of those things that's cool to say that, hey, I've done it, and you know, you can show everybody, which I'm doing for him as well right now. So. The reason that a lot of people are hesitant to do this is a lot of times they don't really pay that great for starters, but if you're in a collision shop, they'll end up taking up one of your stalls, and you know, you can't get the good money makers in and out because they clog up your shops every time you want to move a car around. Now you got to move a plane so you can get a car in the booth, so you know, it's just sometimes it's not worth the trouble. He's also done some very cool flame jobs that we should show you here. Some trucks and some bikes, and I wish I knew how to do flames, but good news. Brings me to my next topic. I wanted to bring up a new magazine from Collision Repair Mag called Bodyworks, and inside of it they have some tutorials on how to do flames, which maybe one day I'm going to try to follow and see if I can figure it out, because I want to learn how to do flames. I know one guy used to tell me that if you can draw a teardrop, you can draw a flame. You know, draw that teardrop and think about it. So draw two connected to each other, and then that's how you draw some flames. But you know, anyway, it's a cool magazine. This one's geared more to the text in the back end, because a lot of the magazines that are, you know, targeted for the collision industry usually are targeting the people in the office and not so much the tech. So this is a very tech-friendly book, and you will even find some articles from your favorite YouTube host in there on color matching and how to keep dirt out of the paint. And I'm pretty sure they have another issue coming out in October. So I'll have a link up again. You can follow to check out. This magazine is available online, the first issue. But definitely want to check that out. A very cool magazine that we should all be supporting. All right, now let me take a few more of your questions, because there are so many of them. But you know, I'm going to take what I got four lined up here for you. So first question is there a difference between polishing and waxing? And yes, there is a very big difference between polishing and waxing. Waxing is basically an extra film that you're adding on top of your clear coat, so it gives you extra protection against UV holdout, and it's going to give you a higher gloss. But wax is an additional film. So if you're polishing, what you're doing is you're repairing the existing film, the existing clear coat. So you'll be sanding it. Sometimes you'll start off with a coarser sandpaper to remove, say, a scratch that exists within the clear coat. And then you'll gradually be refining that scratch with a finer and finer scratch until you have nothing but a high gloss shine. But you're only going to have the original UV protection and shine given by the clear coat. So two different things. One's fixing what you have and one's adding to what you've got. But the wax will wear off depending on the quality of the wax, from 3 to 6 months, or maybe if it's a really crappy one, maybe a few days. But yeah, that's the difference. So let's get on to the next one here, which is it better to apply a clear over single stage? Now, the reason that you would want to apply a clear over a single stage is for extra UV protection, again, from the sun. But is it better or worse? Because what you're doing when you take away, or when you add that clear coat over the single stage, you're taking away from the color depth. So a single stage has the pigment all kind of formulated inside one great coating that is going to give you a bit more depth. So you can't really say if it's better or worse, but you're getting a bit of a trade-off. UV protection for depth of color. Pretty well take your pick. Next one we've got is someone is asking me why they see scratches on metallic color when they're finishing in 600 or finer. Now, typically, when you see scratches in light metallic color, like you're describing, it's because you haven't eliminated the scratches in your prep work. So, you say you're finishing with 600. In my experience, people think they're finishing with 600 or something fine, but really they haven't eliminated the 320 scratch from the previous step. So if you're block sanding your primer with 320 or 400 and then going over with some 600, what you want to do before you go over it with the 600 is apply a guide coat, like it's a graphite powder, and that gets in the scratch, and as you sand it away, that guide coat disappears, indicating that you've actually indeed removed that scratch. So I would say the odds are the scratches still exist that are 320 and thicker, and that is what you're actually seeing. Next up, somebody wants to know if I like PPS or the SATA cups better. So I'm going to start off by telling you a story about my first experience with the SATA cups. You've seen me use the PPS an awful lot, which I like. They're good, well-made. They do what you need them to do. But my first experience with the SATA, so they're a little unique because they have a choke on the top. So you pull the little cap and it lets air in, so it has a bit better of a flow when you're spraying. But you cannot use it upside down. You can angle it, but you can't use it upside down. And if you have too much material in it and it's angled, it can kind of pour out the top. So the first job I did was on a hood at a training center, though, where I was painting it, and the paint actually came out of the top, out that vent hole, and dripped onto my hood, and it made me very angry. But what made me even angrier was when I walked out of the paint booth, twirling my gun around like I would normally do with the PPS, but I forgot that now there's a hole in the top of my container, and it gets getting paint everywhere, and I was probably doing it for 30 seconds before I noticed what was happening. I had this huge mess to clean up, but once I got past that, and I've tried it a few more times since, I gotta say I did like them a little better. I like the way it sprays, definitely. It's just one of those things you got to get onto. I don't really care either way which one I'm spraying. They're both good, but I think it's a matter of personal preference. So I think I like the fact with the PPS it's a lot easier to spray upside down, but the SATA cups, it flows a lot better. And the last thing I want to show you guys before I run off is this 3M Sungun, which somebody has kind of like just hacked up and made a $40 version of the 3M Sungun, which I think is just fantastic. I'm sure it doesn't function quite as well as the existing unit, which is a price tag about $400. And the Sungun, for you guys that don't know, is basically a flashlight that contains the entire visible spectrum of light. So you normally in typical lighting, you're going to have, say, an incandescent bulb that's going to highlight maybe the orange channel of light, and maybe halogen is going to have a blue channel. So this light allows you to see color in its truest form, so comparable to being outside. That's why they call it the sun gun. And I've used it a lot with checking coverage. You would have seen in a lot of my videos. But anyway, this guy is basically taking a drill, a 12-volt drill, gutted it, and threw a sun gun bulb in there, and he has a functioning $40 sun gun. So I think that's pretty cool. So I wanted to show you that. I'm sure, like I said, it doesn't function the same way because it doesn't have the fan built in, which keeps the bulb cool, because I know those things run pretty hot. But anyway, my hat's off to him for trying, and it's definitely worth a read. So I'll have that on the Facebook page, and I'll also have a link somewhere around here that you can check out. And yeah, so I guess that is going to be it for today, guys. So if you guys like this, let me know and hear your comments, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to know something specific, leave me a comment below as well, and I will try to address whatever you guys want. And you know, the more information, the better. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.